Step one, if you want to be like Tara Yummy, you got to think like Tara Yummy. Tara Yummy is a mindset. Goes into super cool edit. Gummy full of edible yummies. I'm feeling tummy. I don't know the lyrics, but you get the point. I'm trying to do the Tara Yummy intro. Anyways, today we are discussing the phenomenon of Tara Yummy and why the internet considers her a pick-me girl. I think it's a complex one that's not as simple as people are trying to make it out to be. But before we deep dive into all of that, let me introduce myself. My name is Cowder's Life, and if you're new to this channel, basically what we do is video essays talking about things from the internet, and then we'll discuss it as a community and team down in the comment sections below. So if that sounds like fun for you, please feel free to subscribe. We're trying to beat this here old ratio. Oh goodness, we're beating it. Words of inspiration. Anyways, if you're not new here, hello again old friend, it's me, your boy Cow, and today I am wearing my Cradle of Filth jumper. I really like Cradle of Filth because it sounds like if theatre kids grew up and then made a band that was all like that's how I would describe Cradle of Filth, but they have this real theatrical fun sound to them, and it always makes me laugh and smile because it's silly but also genuinely good. Anyway, that's enough about my music choices. Let's discuss the pick-me phenomenon that is Tara Yummy. Is she a pick-me? Or is there something more complex going on here? Tara Yummy is a TikTok sensation who has recently been under the spotlight for being labeled as a pick-me, which, you know, is a person that seeks attention, recognition, validation from men. So, you know, like pandering to like the male gaze and just saying things to, you know, gain their validation. Often with pick-me's, you'll see them be like, I'm not like everyone else, I'm different, I also agree with everything you say. Oh, so if I just tuck my hair behind my ears and I ruin my hair, I'll be upset. But anyways, Tara's rise to fame has been meteoric, very big. Tara is literally like the current it girl on TikTok, so it seems. It's the Tara Yummy edits, how to dress like her, how to do makeup like Tara. If you just took it from face value at TikTok, you would think that Tara Yummy is like the Steve Jobs of aesthetics, like some grand innovator. Tara is also known for being part of like the power trio that is Tara, Jake, and Johnny. This little trio. Think like the Mystery Gang, but instead of solving cases of the spooky, scary variety, they do like shopping holes and buying each other things, like her ex-boyfriend just brought her a G-Wagon. Zooey mama, that's incredible. How nice, hey? But anyways, with this absolute superstardom fame comes a lot of scrutiny as there's so many eyes on you. People that resonate with you and people that do not. And because of this, Tara has faced her fair share of criticism now. So in this video, we're going to break them down and go through them, leading up to the overarching question, is Tara Yummy really a pick-me girl? I think the first talking point to consider when addressing whether Tara Yummy is a pick-me girl is just simply the treatment of Tara by her male friends.
What about what's the yummiest part about you?
That's a crazy thing to say, no?
It is no secret that the people Tara is most heavily associated with on the internet are men. So you got Jake, you got Johnny, you've also got characters like Zach. However, the issue is some of these male friends do say some real weird stuff to Tara. Specifically Zach. Zach has said so many odd things to her. For example, there have been moments in their podcast where Zach has just said like the most heinous, odd things.
You are a pedophile's dream.
What?
Because like you're like small and dainty, so it's like you're kind of like a kid. I'm just saying you could like help people. They should put you in prisons with like the pedophiles to like help them. The
joke really is a disgusting, creepy one because it's saying that Tara looks like a child and she should be used as some sort of weird coping mechanism for pedophiles, which is so just disgusting and heinous, and there's so many things to unpack here. There's a real common theme with Tara Yummy, where people are like, she's a pick-me because she says she's small. She is small, and it's the internet's fault for making that attribution that being small makes you childlike. She's not childlike at all. That's not a child right there. That's a grown adult. It's people on the internet being like, oh, you're small, so you must be a child. That's just rude and just not inclusive at all. But I think the reason why people are like, this makes her a pick-me is because she always goes along with the jokes, you know. She continues to hang out with these men despite them making these weird comments to her. And, you know, instead of calling them out for these jokes, she typically goes along with it and she's like, ha ha ha, that's so weird, but ha ha ha, funny, good times. And she's even said in some clips, you know, that Zach doesn't make her uncomfortable. But of course, when asked by the person that makes you uncomfortable if they make you uncomfortable. Most people aren't going to be like, yeah, you make me uncomfortable on a live, production show. That's just a very awkward, tough conversation to have. I think because she just tries to like diffuse it and be very democratic with it and not be like, no, that's bad. People are like, she just loves male attention then. And I think you're putting the blame on the wrong person there, unfortunately. The blame should always be on the men making these weird comments. Tara, like many women in male-dominated environments, may feel pressured to tolerate or normalize behavior to maintain her social and professional relationships. And this is just the sad reality. You see lots of people going along with things that make them uncomfortable because they feel like they're expected to, or it's just the normal part of the culture, when it's not. I'm glad we're calling out creeps, because this has no place in society. Your jokes aren't edgy or dark or quirky or like funny satirical observations. It's weird, freaky, disgusting, heinous. It's deplorable. I have no time for it. And it also, if one of your words popped up there, I quickly asked my community the other day for more words that basically mean bad, because I always say heinous a lot. So if one of your words popped up there, well done, I used your word. Anyways, Zach's behavior to Tara time and time again shows very problematic features. I've heard countless stories from the girls that are my friends telling me of where they have to be polite to a guy or go along with a joke because they feel pressured. There's not an equal power dynamic there. They may be intimidated by the guy, so they feel they have to go along with the charade when inside it makes them uncomfortable. And obviously I'm not trying to put words into Tara's mouth, but I'm just saying how these social situations can come about where, Tara goes along with it may just be a defense mechanism to keep herself safe. Another big factor I see people discussing when, talking about Tara being this pick me is the treatment of other girls by Tara. And there's like a couple of real specific moments people use to, make this point that, Tara's never nice to the girls. She's only caring about the guys and, validating them. One of those specific times is when Alyssa, another member of this podcast, was saying how she's been quite sad recently. She was opening up about how she was feeling, and Tara spoke over her and started talking about her birthday and this party she was going to throw. And yes, I can totally see why someone would say that is rude and unthoughtful and just a bit like self-centered, perhaps. These are the types of comments I see. And I think, while yes, there is some validity in these critiques that it did seem, an odd time to, chiming about something not very relevant when someone was opening up and being quite sensitive. I don't think it's as straightforward as like, that makes her a pick me. I think there's many things to consider. One, it could have just been, she was just being thoughtless, and it wasn't this malice, evil thing, but she just was like thinking about something on her brain. And it seems from the other content I've seen around Tara, she does just act pretty freely and she just does things quite spontaneously. And that's not to take away from how that may have made Alyssa feel, but it's also just to take into consideration the type of personality Tara has. And also, secondly, another considering fact could be, and this is not me to defend her, by the way, I'm just trying to think of different reasons why situations like this do occur. But another one could be like, maybe Tara wasn't in a space where she could take on that sensitive topic herself, so she wanted to diffuse it and talk about a completely different subject. And though I don't think this was the best way to go about it at all, because it seems like you're just sweeping it under the rug, or it just seems like quite an insensitive, rude way to pivot out of the conversation. Typically in lifetime, we're not as smart as we are with hindsight, right? Or thirdly, we're just reading far too much into two people's relationship that actually know each other in real life, and we do not know these people. No matter how much of their content you consume, you do not know these people, and to even think you know what's going on in their personal lives is very parasocial, and you shouldn't do that. Which is also a fair critique, but I also think naturally humans do speculate and wonder, and that's not a bad thing necessarily. But also, these people know each other off camera, and I'm sure they do have many candid, real conversations with each other, or at least you would hope, right? Another example of this is when one of the male hosts were comparing Alyssa to a bird, and then Tara interjected and said that no one had compared her to anything like that.
Alyssa, get out of the sky.
No one made fun of my looks.
We called you a lot, lizard.
we actively made fun of how you were dressed.
Yeah, but not what I was born with.
And again, yeah, it does just seem a bit like not really necessary. But I feel the trouble is when you take these two incidences out of context and just use them to perpetuate this idea that she's this pick me that pits herself against girls. It completely ignores the fact that Tara regularly does content with girls, and she publicly has gone on the record for saying that she does stand up for women and she wants to uplift women. I think with these content creators that create so much content, occasionally we're gonna see them slip up and be a bit immoral perhaps, especially in long form content, right? And if they're making so much long form content, we're gonna see incidences where they do things that we would question morally. But then if we then look at ourselves, all of us will do things occasionally that are immoral, or perhaps we have conversations with our friends, the people we truly care about, where we're like, oh, I should have been more present there. I should have said something else there. I should have actually asked them how they were. But we all get wrapped up in our own worlds, right? So I think naturally with these content creators, we are going to see them make errors and flaws. And this isn't me taking away from her shutting down Alyssa. I think that is, immoral behavior. I'm just saying it doesn't represent their relationship in totality, right? And I don't think it makes Tara a pick me. It's just more a lapse in moral judgment. I think the complex dynamic of all of this is often just overlooked in the rush to make her seem as a problematic character. I think another factor as to why people think Tara Yummy is a pick me girl is the fact that she is currently the it girl of TikTok. There are genuinely so many fan edits, so many makeup tutorials on how to look like her, and viral clips from her content circulating on the platform. I think with this newfound fame, naturally there's always backlash. There's always going to be people that don't resonate with it, a counterculture type thing where people are just yeah, I don't accept her as the it girl. She's not my it girl. I didn't vote for her type thing. Those people label her as a poser, saying it's weird you're doing how to do Tara Yummy makeup when this is pretty standard makeup. It's not original. And the fashion sense, if you go to vaguely any sort of alternative gig, you will see many people dressed like Tara. It's not a innovative style. And that's not me dogging on it or anything like that. It's just a pretty normal style. And I suppose because nothing of it is truly unique or crazy innovative, not that any human is expected to be like that, by the way, because I don't really think anyone is really that innovative nowadays or truly unique. But because of this, and people are doing these videos being how to be like her, how to look like her, I think the people that don't resonate with Tara are just what is going on here? She's not doing anything of note or originality. She's just a pretty normal person. And yes, I think that's why people like her. They relate to her and they want to look like her. And I think that's perfectly fine. I feel this rejection, though, and people being ugh, so annoying, so cringe or whatever, is a real common phenomenon for those that reach the pinnacle of social media stardom. The more popular someone becomes, the more they are subjected to intense scrutiny and criticism. So for just as many people are making those how to look like her edits or whatever, there'll be just as many people really analyzing her and using a couple clips from all of her plethora of content to be bing, bing, bad, or to, suit their agenda, where I think these things are far more complex than that. It's almost how Tara has become this it girl has also played into her demise. Getting to this level of popularity has led to her getting this new wave of hatred where people voice their views on her. Another significant aspect of Tara's public image is her dating life. Her relationship with Jake Weber has been a big focal point, especially given their very public friendship post-breakup. There's edits being look how Jake still looks at her, look how they interact with each other, as if they've not just put a camera there and they're filming content. As much as they may be yeah, this is just the authentic me, as soon as there's a camera in someone's face, they do act different. They'll play into the things that they know gets them views. So you can have an opinion on that and say whether that's immoral, creating these false senses of reality for their fans. Then you could also just argue that every YouTuber is just a character that you're choosing to watch. But in the Jake and Tara show, in the latest episode, recently Jake got her a G-Wagon, a Mercedes G-Wagon, which is a very, very expensive car. And this only further fuels the flames of they must be together because he's spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on her. But Tara literally just gets shipped or put together with whatever man is next to her in a video. It really is that intense. I've even seen people questioning whether she's with Johnny, which is like Jake's best friend. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, surprisingly. I don't think they're even going to write this into the show that they're making here. I don't think I'm going to be like, actually, season 3, Jake's gone. Johnny, come in. Yeah, that's just not going to happen. I think even in the show, they're going to know some boundaries need to be kept. But I don't think what helps this situation is Tara's even said on a podcast that she doesn't mind being shipped with other male creators or doesn't mind the speculation. She enjoys it. And I think that sadly does just encourage parasocial interactions with her fans. Her fans will be like, yeah, let's keep doing this. Let's keep wondering about someone else's personal life instead of my own life. And that's not me trying to make fun of the fans or demonize them, I should say. I think often, especially when we're younger and we're growing up, and we're trying to find people that resonate with us because perhaps the people in our immediate circle or our immediate life don't resonate with us. We find people online that resonate with us and we're like, oh my gosh, I really enjoy their content and I just want to just know everything about them because you're enthusiastic and you want to learn. It's good, wholesome feelings. It's just channeling them into speculating who they're dating or what they meant when they looked at this person or what they meant when they said this. Did it inadvertently mean something else? It's a lot of energy to give to someone, which can be pretty full on and sometimes overstep into the creator's privacy. But when Tara says things like, oh, I actually like it, it further encourages this type of behavior, which I think can be pretty problematic at times. And it's almost like I can see how this pivots into being a pick me girl, because it's like people then would infer that, well, if she said she doesn't mind it, then clearly likes being shipped with loads of different men and such. And then from there, they just try and logically take it to then, oh, then she just clearly wants to hang around with guys because we're gonna ship them with her or whatever. It just seems like a messy pot of emotions that may or may not be in the right place, but it's all very full on. And I think this aspect of her public persona adds another real valid layer to the perception of her being a pick-me girl. The pick-me allegations, let's finally unpack that, right? As we said, a pick-me girl is a person that seeks male approval, typically by putting down other women or behaving in a way that panders to men. And critics have pointed out specific moments or events where Tara has displayed such behavior. Another moment people like to point out is like when Tara met this person and she was like, I'm so small. And people were like, what does that have to do with anything in the situation? It makes no sense. And whilst I acknowledge that these behaviors will contribute to the narrative of being the pick-me girl, it's essential to consider the broader context here, right? Like I said, male-dominated environment. In these circumstances, people may feel they need to diffuse any awkward tension or whatever by playing into a role which people perceive them to be. It's just not as simple as Tara doing these things for male attention. Often, within social interactions, we adopt coping mechanisms to make that conversation go as smoothly as possible. So perhaps she knows if she says she's small, then the person she's then talking to will laugh and joke about that, and then everybody's calm in the first meeting of each other, and there's no awkward or tense moments where no one's saying anything, right? It creates a easy laugh, jokey environment. And this is something I can totally relate to myself. Normally, when I first meet someone, I will be very self-deprecating in my humor to, make them laugh, and then we all laugh and joke about that. It just diffuses any awkward tension, so I can relate to that. So it's almost like she's using this I'm so small thing as a self-deprecating thing to, move into conversation. And I think people overlook all of this and just assume she has negative intentions when she does these things, because we typically associate being small and delicate with being feminine. But this intense scrutiny Tara faces means that her actions are just constantly analysed and criticised. And I think when we compare her situation to other it girls, it makes me a bit sad and tense because their story never ends well. But I think it can give us insight and also help us understand the pattern which is going on here. There's this person in the public eye in the UK called Katie Price. When she was younger, she was this really famous glamour model. Everybody wanted her. Everybody wanted to be like her. There's so many news articles about her, who she was dating, what she was wearing, how to look like her, all of these things. And now, fast forward 20 or 30 years, Katie Price is regularly just clowned on or demonized in the public media. People's perception of her has completely shifted, of her being this it girl, this unobtainable masterpiece, to, oh, look at her now, let's dog on her now, which is really sad and just horrible how people can go from loving someone when they fit their perfect perception, and then when they, grow older and they're no longer this young, thing for people to idolize over. They demonize them and they scrutinize their every decision, and they're just dropped with no good support network. And it'd be sad to think that would still happen in this day and age. But it seems like this could potentially happen with Tara, you know. She got to this huge level of fame, and now people are suddenly like, her hair, whack. Her dress sense, whack. Everything about her, whack. And I don't think that's very nice. Whilst there are like genuine, legitimate critiques to Tara's behavior, labeling her as a pick me, I feel, is a slight oversimplification. So let's conclude on this one, shall we? Tara Yummy's journey from being like TikTok sensation to being labeled a pick me is a complex one. And there's lots of attributes to consider to why this occurs, from how her male friends treat her, the treatment of other women in her circle, the it girl status, the public dating life. All of this contributes to the perception. And whilst there are legitimate criticisms to talk about when discussing Tara, it's crucial to recognize the intense scrutiny she faces. The pattern of building women up only to tear them down when they no longer meet your unobtainable standards is nothing new in the public eye. This happens time and time again. They'll choose a woman, they'll build her up, and then they'll just knock her down like you come in like a wrecking ball. That Miley Cyrus song. I feel Tara Yummy's case highlights the broader social issue that there is a tendency to overanalyze and criticize those who achieve fame. And whilst we should always hold people accountable, it's always good to discuss things with nuance, reflection, and empathy. Yeah, so now let's open this one up to you, the community. Let's discuss this in the comment section below. I'd love to hear everybody's opinions on it. I think it's a real interesting conversation where I can totally see why at face value you would just throw it away as, oh, pick me girl, but I think it's just a real complex one that I look forward to discussing with you all. Anyways, I've been your boy Cowder's Life, and I shall see you all in the next video. Okay, bye!